Lucid Dreaming and Dreamwork for Self-Care and Personal Development series. And tonight I'm going to be discussing a technique that's a little bit different. It's not related to dream work in the sense that it's something that you need to go to sleep to do. It's called active imagination. It is a process from Jungian psychology. And I think it's just very interesting. It does involve a slight shift of consciousness. And I think that dream work and lucid dreaming and yoga nidra all fall into this category of using what we could call alternative states of consciousness to help on your self-care and personal development journey. This is also a technique that has been requested many times. I only think I've presented this technique maybe twice before in all of my time teaching online. So I'm excited to present it again for you all tonight. If you do have the Dreamwork workbook bundle, which I'll drop that resource in the caption section, in the comment section for you all, we're actually going to be working from workbook 2. So the second workbook has the technique on active imagination, and we're going to run through that this evening. So what I'm going to do really quickly though is go through the housekeeping. Let me log in to the live workshop on my own computer though, so that I can see the chat. Let me mute that. Welcome everybody who's joining over here on YouTube. Perfect. So let me get my notes and everything pulled up. You know how I do. First housekeeping item, as always, is going to be interaction. As I'm going through the content and the information this evening, if you have any questions, comments, experiences, go ahead and drop those in the comment section. You know that additional conversation will allow more information to flow through. And also, a lot of the things that I talk about are very nuanced. So I want to make sure that you completely understand as we go from step to step. You know that I will ask you just to make sure. But once again, if you do have any questions, I don't want you to sit on the other side of the screen confused or bamboozled or bewildered. So if you do have any questions, I'm very good at keeping myself on track and answering everything that comes up. So even if you're watching this on the replay, you can go ahead and drop your questions in the comment section. If you are watching over here on Instagram, please go ahead and share this video with a friend, family member, loved one. You can do that by tapping the arrow in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. But you already know, as I've said, if you're over here on Instagram, go ahead and join me over here on YouTube. That way you can get the content and the notes and the resources and all of the different things that I'm going to drop in the comment section for you. So go ahead and join me over here on YouTube. If you are over here on YouTube, one thing that I would like you to do right now is go ahead and give this video a quick thumbs up. It is a free way to support me, just like you're trying to grow, I'm trying to grow. So that thumbs up will go a long way. Go ahead and thumbs up and give this video a like. Let's go ahead and go through the resources for this evening. I'm going to drop those in the chat section. And then also when I redo, everything in the description box, I will, update the description as well. The first thing that I have for you is the free dream work guide. So if you are just beginning your dream work process, your dream work practice, and you are working on developing that dream recall, that is a fundamental skill that you will need for any dream work practice. Then this free dream work guide has basically everything that you need to really get going, including guided meditations, information on how to set up your dream journal, how to improve your dream recall, how to go from remembering 0 dreams to more than 3, 2, 3, 4 dreams a night. And if you're working on lucid dreaming, one of the first steps is building your dream recall. And I suggest at least being able to recall 2 dreams in detail every evening, every night. The next thing that I'm dropping for you is the workbook that we're going to be working out of. So the Dreamwork and Lucid Dreaming workbook bundle. It does come with 2 workbooks. So everything that we've been doing over the past few months, we've been working from that first one intro to Dreamwork to build up your fundamental skills, no matter what type of dream work practice you are working on. If you're trying to do work with your non-lucid dreams, if you're trying to become lucid in your dreams, if you want to work with yoga nidra, if you want to work with liminal dreaming, hypnagogic or hypnopompic dreaming, those basic skills and techniques, how to interpret your dreams, all of that good stuff is in the first workbook. But we're going to be working from the second one. So if you do have that second workbook, go ahead and pull that up. And let me tell you what page we're going to start on. 14, 15, 16. It is the day on daytime work transformation. Go ahead and turn to page 16 in that second workbook. We're going to get things going over there, okay? If you don't have the workbook, while I'm going through housekeeping, it's going to give you time to go ahead and click on that link. It's $22.22. It's basically 20 bucks. It's cheaper than lunch, y'all. If you are planning on coming to these workshops over the next few months that we're going to be going through all of this information, it would behoove you to go ahead and grab this workbook. That way you can get the most out of the information. Both of them contain activities, exercises, journaling prompts, tips and techniques, once again, on how to improve your dream recall, how to become lucid in your dreams, multiple techniques on how to interpret your dreams, how to use your dreams in various processes like active imagination for self-transformation, how to shift your thoughts, beliefs, and patterns of behavior using a lot of these processes that, I am teaching you on and talking about. In the additional resources section in the back, it has links to journaling exercises. It has links to guided meditations. In the beginning, it also has links to scientific studies, because I don't like you to believe things just because I'm telling you. I am a person who believes in resources, so I always want to provide you those resources. That way you can continue your journey, you can dive in deeper, and whatever avenue you wish to continue to explore, you have the information to do so, okay? So you have all of that. Let's see what else I have for you. And then Sacred Sunday Space in the Dark Art Self-Care Series. Actually, this is the September schedule. Let me grab the November schedule for you. I just actually posted it today. Sacred Sunday Space and the Dark Art Self-Care Series are my private self-care groups. Sacred Sunday Space and the Dark Arts Self-Care Series. I host these through Zoom, and we meet 2 to 4 times a month, depending on how you would like to engage. In my workshops, typically I do a lot of teaching, but there's a very big difference between talking the talk and walking the walk. These self-care processes, these personal development techniques, even things like Dreamwork and EFT and yoga nidra and mindfulness meditation or shamatha, all the things that I teach on, it's interesting to know if you want to have the information intellectually, but the processes literally don't work unless you engage in them. And I know a lot of people are very big on self-care, or you say that you're big on self-care, but immediately when people get stressed, the first thing that they do is throw their self-care practices and self-care sessions right out the door, because they say, I'm too stressed, I'm too busy, I'm too this, I'm too that, in order to engage in the processes that they know are healthy and helpful for them. So I've created Sacred Sunday Space as a way to hold you accountable and to provide you a space and a place to do structured and consistent self-care. I create the self-care practice using all of the different techniques that I teach you about. We typically engage in journaling, some type of meditation practice. We may do like yin yoga or qigong or breath work. We do a lot of goal setting, and it's set up to be that you receive what you need when you come. So everyone will go through the same process, but what you take away will be what you need. It's no cameras, come as you are. You will have time to sage your space or use Palo Santo or whatever it is that you like to cleanse. We do, once again, body work, mind work, breath work, journaling for self-care, goal setting, all of that good stuff. And all you have to do is show up. So I put that link down there for you. You can go ahead and check out the November schedule and everything that we're going to be up to. And if you would decide that you'd like to join, you have that information right there for you. I think that's everything that I have for you. If you are ready to roll, what I want you to do is go ahead and drop a number 8 in the comments section and let me know. I am keeping track of the time so that I can update the chapters in the description, main content. If you are ready to roll, you have your pens, your papers, your notebooks, tablets, recording devices, whatever it is that you need. And you have your workbook. Once again, we're going to be working from the second one, Dreamwork Part 2, or Dreamwork for Personal Development. Hello, Tarian. Hello. Let me see. I saw some of the 8s pop up. Hello, Sean, teacher. Go ahead and y'all want to pull your workbooks up. Pull the second one up and turn to page 16. If this is your first time here and you don't know who I am, allow me to briefly introduce myself. My name is Aaron. I'm a certified metaphysical life coach, and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, and techniques that you can use in order to create a positive shift and transformation in your life. I think this is workshop 8 or workshop 9 in our Dreamwork and Lucid Dreaming for Self-Care and Personal Development series. And tonight I'm actually going to be presenting a technique called active imagination. And it's one that you can use in order to dialogue with aspects of your psyche. So many of us know aspects like the inner critic or the inner child, but there are tons of aspects or different components or characters in the psyche. Not all of them even need to have a name. But it's important for you to understand what's going on in the unconscious mind and be able to really communicate with yourself, negotiate with yourself, especially if you're working on changing your thoughts, beliefs, and patterns of behavior. Why? Let's take the example of the inner child. So these different aspects of the psyche, especially these unconscious aspects, they can actually assert their own autonomy through the ego. So, say you've been neglecting your inner child and they really have these strong needs, these strong desires. At a certain point, this aspect of you will kind of take over your ego, and you may begin to engage in behaviors that part of you wants to engage in. It may override your higher functions. And that may not always be the best thing for you, especially if you have goals that contradict the goals and desires and the things that these other parts of your psyche want. And I think it's important to also talk about that we are a lot of people categorize these different aspects of the psyche as if they are like, we reify them, we make them real. And at a certain point, it's important to understand that all of these different parts are still you. They're not separate from you. It's kind of like the ocean and the waves. The waves are 100% a part of the ocean. They're not separate from the ocean. So it's important for you to walk this fine line so that you don't start to splinter or fracture your personality and take things in a way too literally. Like your inner child is an aspect of you, but it's not you. It is you. It's just another part of you. Just like your inner critic or there's different parts of you that may feel very aggressive or get angry, like parts of you that come out to protect you when you feel offended or when you feel fearful. You know, there are different aspects of your personality that will come forth in order to help you engage with the world, engage with others around you. But once again, I always take this perspective of self-care and personal development. And for me, when I think about personal development, what does that mean? It means analyzing what's going on in your life so that you can create those positive changes. And what are you typically changing? A lot of times people start with their behaviors. They have a certain behavior that they're exhibiting that is not working for them, and they decide that they want to change that. You want to improve your health and fitness. You want to change your diet. You want to get your relationships together. You want to manifest a boo thing. Maybe you want to engage with yourself in a more spiritual way. So even if we break these things down, these are different aspects of your life, but they're still all your life. But you may have a certain goal as the ego, having a higher executive function, but then these other parts that perhaps you are neglecting or not paying attention to may have their own goals, may have their own agendas, and these two things may not always be in alignment with one another. So it's like, what do you do then? Many times this is the reason why people fail to adhere to their goals. A part of them wants to, get off the couch and go work out, but another part of them just wants to eat pizza and eat sweets all day and watch TV. These are two different parts of yourself that may be at odds with one another. And we talk about dream work, how your dream is the place where the unconscious mind roams, and it allows you to see what's going on below the surface. It allows you to identify different aspects of your experience that perhaps you are neglecting, or things that you are repressing or suppressing. So this technique fits right in alignment with that, in order to give you a tool to make certain adjustments, to negotiate with yourself, to make deals with yourself. If all of this makes sense so far, go ahead and drop me a number 8 in the comment section and let me know. If not, go ahead and drop me a question in the comment section. I just want to make sure that this is clear, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into the nitty-gritty of the technique. So I know we typically have a lag. I'm going to give it just a few moments to see if anything comes up. And let me watch over here on Instagram as well. Hey, everybody who is in here. You can feel free to stay over here on Instagram. Let me wave to everybody. But I would suggest that you go over here and hop on YouTube. That way you can catch all of the resources and everything that I'm putting in the chat for you. Okay, I'm seeing those 8s. And please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you are following along so far. I would really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and jump into the workbook. We're on page 16 of the Dreamwork Part 2 workbook. What is active imagination? Active imagination is a process where the ego will seek to engage with other aspects of the psyche through open dialogue. It is just like talking to yourself. Have you ever really needed to have a heart-to-heart with yourself? You speak aloud, you hear responses in your mind, you converse, dialogue, and make new agreements. And that's exactly what this process is. So first, let's talk about the 3 rules. Okay, there are 3 rules. Actually, for the sake of time, because we're already about 27 minutes in, I'm going to go through the first 2. And if you have the workbook, then go ahead and pay attention to number 3, because that one's just as important. Rule number 1 to get down before we even start to engage in the process of active imagination. Standing on equal ground. Both the ego and whatever aspects of the psyche you are engaging with are standing on equal ground. You, the ego, the one who has the, we could call higher executive functions. You are not more important, bigger than, or more dominant than the part of the psyche you are seeking to engage with. In fact, you are both parts of the same entity. And that kind of speaks to what I talked about using the metaphor of the ocean and the waves. So with our example, maybe you're seeking to engage with the inner child. It's important to understand that the part of you that is the inner child is not going to be willing to come forth if you, the ego, have this attitude or have this energy that you are dominant, or you are better than, or you are bigger than, or more important than the inner child, or whatever aspect of your other aspect of yourself that you are seeking to engage with. It's important to approach this conversation, approach this process, that these are two equal parts of yourself coming together to dialogue, to have discussions surrounding a certain topic, to figure out what's going on deep down inside and make resolutions on how we can move forward as an entire entity together in order to create that harmony in our life. Okay, so there we're standing on equal ground. Rule number 2, free flow. Rule number 2, free flow. Do not try to plan what you're going to say or what the other aspect of your psyche will say. This is an actual conversation you're entering into in order to reconcile, heal, and understand. You cannot plan that. You must trust and go with the flow. So what I would compare the active imagination process to is like a shower conversation. You know, like maybe you had an argument or you had a discussion with someone earlier in the day and you find that you didn't get all your points out, and then you get in the shower and now you're like caught up. The focus of your awareness is being settled into the mental domain of your being. So you're less likely to be paying attention to, you know, the external circumstances and the external things that are going on around you. And you're engaging in dialogue. Like you're talking, but you're also receiving responses and receiving answers in your head, in your mind, in your own way. And these two entities, these two beings, you're talking and you're hearing and you're responding. So you can kind of think of active imagination like that. When you're having that type of shower conversation, you're not planning what you're going to say and you're not planning what you're going to hear. You're just free flowing. You're having the conversation. You're in the present moment. You're expressing what you need to express, and the things that are coming forth, the signs, the symbols, the images, the messages, they are just coming in. Okay? Does all of this make sense? Does the process so far, have I outlined it clearly? Are you clear on, you know, what the active imagination process is and what you'll actually be doing? And the first two of our 3 rules. Rule number 1, standing on equal ground. And rule number 2, free flow. Does all of this make sense? Once again, I know a lot of the things that I talk about here are very nuanced, and you may not have heard of these techniques in other places. Once again, active imagination is a process from Jungian psychology. But I just want to make sure that everything is clear before we get into the nitty-gritty. So let me go back to the chat and let me see. Go ahead and drop your number 8 if it's clear. You know, when you turn the number 8 sideways, that's the infinity sign. It lets me know that we're right in alignment with one another. You're picking up what I'm putting down. You're smelling what I'm stepping in. You are good to go. If you cannot drop me a number 8, go ahead and drop me your question so that I may gift you some clarity. So let me see some 8s or let me see some questions. Let me check over here. Okay, hello, Chai. Welcome. Hello, Capricorn Moon Bay. And who are you? Ken Rick Wright Jr. Welcome. Okay, I'm seeing. Okay, we're going to keep it moving forward. Thank you for the 8s. So go ahead and scroll down to the next page, page 17, and let's talk about our 4 steps to the active imagination process. The step number 1, where we're going to begin, is empty the egoic mind. What you're going to do, this is really easy. You want to meditate for about 15 to 20 minutes. If you're on a time crunch, optimally you would like to meditate for about 20 to 30 minutes. And the technique of meditation, remember meditation is a very general term. There are lots of different types of meditations for different types of purposes. When some people say meditation, they may mean visualization or some type of guided process. That is not what we're talking about here. The type of meditation that you want to engage in is mindfulness meditation or shamatha meditation. So let's break this down. Mindfulness means to bear something in mind. Typically, what you'll be bearing in mind is an object of attention. So depending on the technique that you're using, that could be the sensation of the breath at the nostrils. Hey, Julia, welcome, welcome, welcome. Haven't seen you here in a while. Thanks for coming on in and blessing us with your good energy. So that could be the sensation of the breath at the nostrils. That could be focusing on the feeling of solidity of, whatever it is that you're sitting on. If you are maybe doing mantra work, it could be constantly repeating a mantra, and then every time your mind gets caught up in another thought or gets distracted, you bring yourself back to the mantra. There are plenty of types of objects. The one that I do suggest for beginners is the Theravada method. Mindfulness of breathing using the Theravada method. If you do have the workbook, if you look in the back of the workbook in the first one, in the additional resources section, you're going to find a link to this exact guided meditation, this technique, mindfulness of breathing, using the Theravada method, and that's the one that I suggest that you work with. Why am I saying that? Well, the process of emptying the mind, a lot of people are like, well, how do I empty my mind? How do I stop my thoughts? It's easy if you begin to narrow your focus. So in mindfulness meditation, you're placing the focus of your awareness on one single object, on one stimulus. And then as the mind begins to trail away, as the mind gets distracted, in the beginning, your only objective is to realize, okay, I'm now thinking about my dinner, or I'm thinking about my to-do list, or the things that I didn't get done, or what someone said to me earlier, or what I have to do tomorrow, or, whatever. At that point, you're no longer meditating. Now you're thinking, now you're obsessing, now you're ruminating. So the objective is to realize that the mind has become distracted, and then bring your mind back to settling the focus of awareness on your object. So every time the mind becomes distracted, you just bring it back. The mind becomes distracted, you bring it back. Over time, the mind will learn to stay with this one object, and it will become single pointedly focused. Now think, if you're single pointedly focused, if it's only settled here, that means everything else is not coming into awareness. Everything else is not appearing in consciousness. So at this point, you're able to empty the egoic mind of all of the thoughts and all of the stimuli and all of the negative energy and all of the things that are causing the mind to be agitated. You're literally calming the body-mind system down, calming the nervous system down, okay? So this is the first thing that you want to do. You want to meditate in this way using some sort of mindfulness meditation technique. And once again, the one that I suggest you use is mindfulness of breathing using the Theravada method, especially if you're a beginner. It's nice and gentle. It's easy. It's calming. It's soothing. You're going to love it. Okay? So step 1 is emptying the egoic mind via meditation. If you've got that down, go ahead and drop me a number 2 in the comment section below and let me know that you're ready for step 2. If you have any questions about step 1, about mindfulness meditation, or any of the methods or anything that we've covered so far, go ahead and drop your question. But once again, I just want to make sure that we're all in alignment. You're picking up what I'm putting down. You're smelling what I'm stepping in as we move forward. So if you understand the process of active imagination as I have outlined what it is, if you understand, let me see, I see some people maybe asking questions. Okay. I'm seeing some hearts and some no questions, 8s and 2s. Just making sure if you understand our ground rules and then our step 1, go ahead and drop me a number 2 in the comment section. I see 1, 2. Can I get one more 2? Can I get one more 2? Can I get one more 2? Letting me know that you all understand, and we'll go ahead and move to step 2. But I'm assuming that it's either the lag or maybe someone is typing a question. So if I can get one more 2 just to make sure that everybody's good to go, then we'll roll on to step 2. But just want to make sure that we understand the process of emptying the egoic mind, of mindfulness meditation or shamatha, whatever you want to call it. So let me see some 2s or let me see some questions. I'm going to give it a second. I know there's a lag. Let me check over here on Instagram if we have any questions over here. Okay. Are y'all there? We're going to keep it moving then. I'm not seeing no questions and I'm not seeing no more 2s, but maybe you're taking notes. So we're going to move on. Hopefully you understand. I'm here for y'all. I'm trying to make sure that you get what you need. Step number 2 is going to be invite in the unconscious. So this is a transitional step. Once you have completely silenced you or the ego, and this is going to be getting rid of all those extraneous thoughts, getting rid of all the agitation, just settling the body-mind system down, calming the nervous system. From the workbook, it's like you're in a cave and you are waiting for the entity who lives in the darkness to open up to your presence. You'll likely hear a voice. It could be a simple sentence or a thought that seems in alignment with the conversation that needs to be had. This is the unconscious approaching. So if you are engaging with this technique, you're probably going to already have a reason or, a topic of conversation or something that you would like to talk about. Once again, we're talking about self-care and personal development. So maybe you're approaching active imagination because you have a certain goal, something that you've been working on. Maybe you've been working on your lucid dreaming. You're trying to get lucid in your dreams and you haven't been keeping up with your meditation. You haven't been keeping up with your dream journaling. You haven't been keeping up with the various processes that you need to engage in order to become lucid in your dreams. So there's a part of you that wants to become lucid. There's a part of you that wants to learn these techniques, but there's also this other part of you that's very lazy, that doesn't feel like meditating, that doesn't feel like dream journaling, that doesn't feel like interrupting your sleep and doing wake back to bed or doing mild or doing wild. It doesn't have to relate to dream work. Once again, maybe it's that you are trying to improve your relationship with your lover or with yourself. And in one way, you feel like you want to do these investigations on how you can accept more love, how you can give more love, how you can improve your communication, how you can stop blaming, how you can, look at the patterns of failed relationships in the past. Maybe you already have a lover and you two are going through it. And you're like, a part of me is like, I want to accept responsibility for my actions and what I have contributed to the detriment of this relationship, because I do want to make this a better relationship. But then you have another part of you that says, that's not my fault. I don't need to do that. It's their fault. It's the other person, da. So you may be at odds with yourself. Maybe you are, wanting to exercise or improve your diet. And a part of you is like, I got my new diet down. I want to do my meal prep. I have my workout routine, all of that good stuff. But you can't seem to just get to the gym. You can't seem to get outside and jog. You still want to eat Captain Crunch and Hot Pockets and drink pop and all of that stuff. But, you're just going back and forth with yourself on whatever it is that you're working on. So you're like, okay, I see what's going on here. I'm at odds with myself. So I would like to use this process of active imagination to kind of talk with myself, to talk with the inner aspects of myself, to see what's going on here and how I can improve this situation. So you're approaching the process already with your goal in mind. You go through your mindfulness meditation, you calm yourself down. Now you're in this transitional period. What did I call it? Let me go back to the workbook. Inviting in the unconscious. You're in this transitional step. So you're just calmly waiting for the thought or for the emotion or for the topic, the conversation to begin. And you can kind of think about this once again, our example of the shower conversation. You already know in the shower conversation, it does not take long for stuff to start popping off. You know, before you know it, you are just engaged in dialogue with yourself. So imagine that, you know, you get in the shower, the warm water is coming over you. This is relaxing you, it's calming you down. This is very similar to the process of emptying the egoic mind. And then there's just this small shift in consciousness, this small shift in your mind, and then the aspects that need to converse with you come about, you know, and then you're engaging in the dialogue. So that transitional step is step 2. Step 3. If this makes sense, go ahead and drop me a number 3 in the comment section and let's move to step 3. If this makes sense, go ahead and drop me a 3 in the conversation. Drop a number 3 in the chat section and we'll move to step 3. I only got one screen, y'all, so I'm going between my notes, the workbook, and y'all in the room. Let me see. Does anybody have any questions, or can we get some 3s? Can we get some 3s? Questions are 3s. Questions are 3s. Questions or 3s. Okay, we're moving on to step 3. Step 3, and we are on page 17. Dialogue. In this step, you will speak aloud to the voice that has come up. Remember, you are meeting on equal ground. You cannot force someone or some part of you into having a conversation with you. You also cannot strong-arm yourself or try to deceive yourself. As you're dealing with your own mind, it should be obvious why this simply will not work. Ask questions that you may have, then listen. Ask, then listen. So there's going to be, let me finish what's written. Seek to listen to understand and not listen to respond. And we hear that all the time in communication. You need to have understanding. You, of course, may also speak how you feel, then be sure to listen for a response. So I feel like this is just, this is simple. This is how a conversation, even if you're not having a conversation with your inner psyche or aspects of your inner mind, this is how any conversation should go. You should be speaking and listening. And sometimes you should be listening more than you are speaking, especially if, once again, you're coming to yourself to receive answers. That means you're not approaching this as if this is an argument. You're not approaching this process as if this is the blame game. You are asking questions and then listening for answers because you want to receive those messages. You want to receive that intuition and you want to hear what comes up. Imagine if you are talking over someone and they just shut down and decide that they don't want to talk to you anymore or they don't want to give you any more information. That same thing can happen when you're talking to yourself. If you are, in a way, the egoic mind is just dominating the conversation, it may come a point in time in this process of active imagination where it just seems like, well, I can't think of anything, or nothing is coming up, or I'm not hearing anything. It may be because you have shut this other part of your mind, you have shut this other part of your psyche down to the point where the conversation is going to stop flowing, the information is going to stop flowing, those intuitive messages are going to stop flowing. So, you may have things that you're wondering about. You may have questions that you want to ask, and that's perfectly okay. Ask those questions and then listen. Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Okay? Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. And just have an open dialogue, have an open conversation. Once again, I've been calling this the shower conversation. If this makes sense, go ahead and drop me a number 4, and we're going to move on to our last step. We only have four steps in this technique. And this one is the most important. This one is the most important. If this all makes sense to you so far, let me check over here on Instagram. If this all makes sense for you so far, go ahead and drop me a number 4 in the comment section and let me know that you are ready to roll and you're ready to move to step number 4. Thank you, Tarian. Tarian's always on it. Y'all let her handle the whole everything for the class. And we're all here. Maybe y'all are taking notes. Maybe you're doing whatever. Let's not put all of the energy and the responsibility on one person. But I do appreciate you, Tarian. Tarian's like, look, I came to get my information and I'm not leaving without it. It don't matter what everybody else is here for. I'm here for my learning and my growth, and I'm getting what I came for. Okay, step number 4, make an agreement and complete a ritual. Once both parties have discussed how they feel and have listened equally to one another, you need to make an agreement. Say you're dealing with some inner child work because your inner child surfaced in your dream. So, maybe you're engaging with this process after you have done some dream work, and in your dream, you have identified aspects of, the dream, images, symbols, and patterns that reveal to you that there's some work that you need to do with your inner child. Maybe you have had some lucid dreams and you have gone into your lucid dream with the specific intent of discovering something, of talking with a dream figure, because remember, all of the figures in the dream are, once again, aspects of your psyche, aspects of your unconscious mind, aspects of your unconscious self. Maybe you wanted to know why you are not able to get done as much work as you want to. Maybe you are wondering why your new project is not popping off the way that you want it to, why you have been procrastinating, and you said, you know what, I'm going to get lucid in my dreams. I'm going to go into the dream and I'm going to ask a dream figure, which represents me, why have I not been able to make progress in this project? You get lucid in the dream, you ask the dream figure that, and maybe the dream figure turns into a child and it tells you, you have been so focused on work that you have been neglecting me. You have been neglecting this part of me, and I don't feel like working. I don't want to work. I want to play. So maybe this inner aspect of yourself is, representative of the inner child, and is showing you that you're out of balance. And because all you want to do is work, maybe now you have overworked yourself, overstressed yourself, and because you aren't in balance, giving yourself this free time to be creative, this free time to be fun, this free time to engage with your inner child, this is literally shutting you down from the inside out. So, say you've done all that background work and now you're approaching the process of active imagination in order to resolve this issue and to create balance. So now from a waking standpoint, you're having this conversation with this inner child, and your inner child may feel neglected and is secretly acting through your ego, taking control when you, the ego, are not looking. On the surface, it looks like self-sabotage. So perhaps you need to make an agreement with your inner child that you will have 2 hours of playtime each weekend. So you're having this open dialogue with yourself in this process of active imagination, and you say, you know what, I see what's going on here. I'll make this agreement with you, dear inner child. Every weekend, I will dedicate 2 hours of time to painting, to playing, to coloring, to doing puzzles, to watching movies. We'll have a pizza party and popcorn together. You know, I will take time off just to be with you, just to be with me, just to be with us, and provide this sense of balance and this playfulness and creativity. And in turn, I would like us to also make this agreement that during the week, we will have 2 hours of uninterrupted work time, you know, Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I will always make 2 hours of playtime to engage with my inner child, to engage with you, to achieve this balance. Does this all make sense? Does this all make sense? Let me know. Drop me an 8 if this makes sense. When you make this agreement, you must commit to this agreement. You're literally making an agreement with yourself. You're making an agreement with aspects of your unconscious mind, with aspects of your inner self, aspects of your psyche. So you must make this agreement, and you will do what I call ritualizing it. And ritualizing it just means engaging in it, actually doing it, what you said you're going to do. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. Do it. This makes a concrete connection between the two parts of the self. This step is essential to active imagination. Make a new agreement, use a ritual or an activity, if you will, in order to make the agreement concrete, honored, and respected. Okay? That is the process of active imagination. So it's very easy, it's very simple, it's not hard at all. And, you know, I taught this process to a client who journaling was just not her thing. You all know that I'm a person who's very big on journaling for self-exploration, to do this same type of thing, to go within your mind, to figure out what's going on, to make new connections, to make new agreements, to set goals, to track goals. But if you're perhaps a person who's really not into journaling, then the process of active imagination is something that you can do. You know, you can meditate and go on a walk and talk to yourself and just have a really good heart-to-heart with yourself, a really good conversation with yourself. Have that open dialogue, make those negotiations, make an agreement, and then set your ritual. And that will absolutely work for you. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about anything that we've talked about this evening? Let me know. It's been a little bit dry in the comments, but I understand. Maybe you're taking notes. Maybe, you know, you're working through the workbook. Maybe you're figuring out how you can apply active imagination to the goals and to the Dreamwork processes and to the self-care and personal development things that you already have going on in your world. But go ahead and give me a little feedback, if you will. We have a few people in the room live. Give me some feedback. Does this make sense? Is this something that you are interested in trying out for yourself? Do you have any questions about any of the steps that we have gone through or any of the rules that we talked about in the very beginning? Let me know. And once again, you already know I will update. I'm going to try to update the description and the description box and all of that good stuff this evening. If not, I will definitely do that tomorrow. But before we head out of here, I have another class in 4 minutes. So I just want to make sure that I'm giving you all the, attention and the resources and providing you with the best answers that I can in the time that we have allotted left with one another. So let me know. Janet Watts, missed the first part, but sounds interesting. It's okay, Janet. The replay is gonna be up. So as soon as I get out of here, you will be able to go back and review it and get what you need. And if you do have questions, you can always drop those in the chat section or the comment section, and I always answer every single question, so don't even worry about it. But this process of active imagination is an interesting one, and I do suggest that you all try it out. I'm going to give it just a few more seconds to see if anything comes up. If you have enjoyed this content and this information, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I was wondering if I take a look at my dream symbols, so that's something I can apply here, if that makes sense. Yes, it is. So that's why I kind of wanted to give you that example of, if you look at your dream symbols and you make those associations, maybe you have a certain goal and you find that there's some inner aspect of yourself that is at odds with your executive functioning, that is at odds with the ego, and is causing, chaos or self-sabotage, or it's not in alignment with your goals and the things that you want, then you can absolutely engage in this process of active imagination in order to reconcile those differences and bring your inner and outer selves, if you will, into harmony. So this is definitely a process that you can use alongside lucid dreaming or non-lucid dream work for self-care and personal development. So absolutely, 100%. Does anybody else have any questions, or was that clear for you, Miss Tarian? Let me know. I have about 2 minutes left. Let me know. Let's talk. If you have any questions, I want to make sure that I answer those for you and that you all get what you came here to get. Hey, everybody over here on Instagram. I've been over here on YouTube, so you can join on YouTube and catch that replay. Thank you. Yes. Okay, perfect. I'm not seeing any other questions, so I am going to go ahead and head out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this evening. Once again, if you don't have the workbook, I would highly suggest that you grab that. I have posted the November schedule for Sacred Sunday Space. I will also encourage you to join me for those live self-care sessions. You have that link up there at the top, and I will also put it in the description box. If you're on my email list, go ahead and check your email from today. And I did also email you all these schedules so you can see what's going on for the month in case you would like to join me. If you do have any questions, once again, you can always drop those in the comment section here on YouTube. And if you follow me on Instagram, you can definitely send me a DM. I try to be as helpful and as responsive as I can. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you next Thursday for our next session in this Dreamwork for Self-Care and Personal Development series.